So data visualization again is the graphical representation of information and data, as we said last week. Graphs or charts are data. And also data visualization tool such as Matplotlib or any packages or any program language provide a way to present these figures and also the graphs. So I will skip most of the theory as we covered last week already, but this is what we are learning. Last week we didn't learn the Matplotlib. So actually when we are doing our hands-on decision tree, etc., sometimes we will say we need a graph, let's say a scatter plot. I want to do regression. Most likely I have to use Matplotlib. Most likely. Not most likely, I have to. Matplotlib, PyLab, or Seaborn with it, etc. So Matplotlib is the major, here they say it's one of the most powerful tools for data visualization, again in Python. It's same as ggplot in R, ggplot2 in R. They work on everything I think Matplotlib can do. I shouldn't say everything because technology changes always. But I would say that at least 80 to 90% of what ggplot or the R can do package for is the same as this. So they're almost the same. Yeah. No, so we say it's very powerful for 2D plotting library also. Now, in order to use Matplotlib, if you have an encoder, you are using the Jupyter note or it's already there for us. But if you are not sure that it's there, or you are using other Python platforms, most of the time, you have to install it. So this is the command to install. Yeah. And also, most of the time, as we said, if we have a package already, then we need to import it. I say most of the time, always we need to import it. So here we can just import Matplotlib, that's it. We can end it here. But here, as we all know, we always create an alias. So the alias name will be short. I don't want if I'm using any function for matplotlib.pyplot, I have to write all this long. Then I'll say dot scatter or anything I want to do. I don't want to do that. So I will have alias for this. This means next time I want to use any of these package functions, I'll just say plt dot, then whatever function you want to use. Yeah, so that's the first step. And if no question, let's move on. So first, if you don't have it, we need to store it. And we move from there. Sometimes I get the two R and Python mess. In R, when you store, you have to load it with the library function. So sometimes, but here I think we don't need to, not I think. So that's the step here, yeah. So, yeah, so that's what even they said here. The Matplotlib strive to emulate MATLAB. But the good news here is that it's free. MATLAB, you have to buy the license. Yeah, you have to buy the license. So here we say the matplotlib.pyplot is a collection of command style functions that make Matplotlib work like MATLAB. Yeah. Today, we don't use MATLAB too much. Even when you talk about data science, data mining, they don't mention MATLAB much. Mostly for signal processing, engineering, like not computer engineering, electrical engineering, they control signals. Yeah, they use MATLAB a lot also because of matrices. But still, Python will do the work. Python will do the work. So here we say, okay, each pyplot function makes some change to the figure. So for example, create a figure or create a plotting area in the figure or plot some lines in the plotting area, etc. We'll see some. I have like 2 or 3 different slides with different, because again, as the Matplotlib is, we can't learn everything. It's like the NumPy, pandas. We cannot learn we can learn everything, but the way the course is designed, only today we do Matplotlib. in 3 hours, we can't go through all the functions, but we'll go through as many as we can. Yeah. So that's all we will say here. As we said earlier, Matplotlib can help us to plot pie chart, histogram. These are the common charts, like column, so many scatter plots. And also it can make it possible for us to have a title, the X label, the Y label, if we have 2 dimension, legends, everything. So this is the example of some of the Matplotlib. So here we say Matplotlib allow you to make easy things. You can generate plots, histogram, power spectrum, so many, error chart, scatter plot, and these are some few of them here. Sometimes we can even create a line chart and we can specify how many lines we want. Like here we have 2 lines. Like you can get 3, 4 lines, any amount. Or I can create a broken lines if I want to. You have to set the characteristics. Also, we can have a color. See, the color is 2 options. You can either use the column, the color as a decimal number, or if you know the color name. So both works here. And this is a nice scatter plot for us. Now here you can see that the dot is green. So we have to spread. By default, most of them are black by default. We can also set, if I create a bar chart, we can set the color also, everything. So let's see our first, so that's all we can talk, again, as we did the theory, but in general, what is a graph visualizing? So here, as we said, we focus on the Python of it. So this is our first code. Let's see if it's okay for, so as we said earlier, the first thing we need, so let's say here I'm using an Akoda, Spider or Jupyter. So I don't need to install that. Or if I like, I can just, first time, I can install it. If it's there, all you have to do is to tell us that, oh, you already have it. It won't give us error, so that's good. But other than that, the first option we do is to import. So I think that one by now we know. Any package we want to use, even decision tree, scale and everything, we always import. So what we are doing here is that we change the name to PLT. And as we said, in a graph, the first thing we need is our data. So here we just randomly generate data for X and Y values. So this will be 2-dimension. Then we use the plot function. So this is what we said. Instead of saying matplotlib.pyplot.plot, we just give it alias a new name, PLT. So as always allow us to create alias of a name, aliases. Yeah. So now here we say plt.plot, X values come first, Y values second. Then we have a special function that will show the plot. So we call the function show. So the same thing you have to do, plt.show. Again, this is the most, I would say, the beginning matplot. We have data, only 2 functions. Even the function we don't have any attribute or we set for the graph. Right now, we just don't have no title, nothing, no label. And this is what we get based on the data given to us. This is what we get. If like it's increasing constant, then we get a straight line. But again, this is not a straight line. So let's wait for a few seconds. Normally in some sections, student may say, okay, run the code, let's make sure. Good news, I don't have to write type it, go very fast. So I can just copy it. That's why I open my, or if sometimes we have to write something, copy it. And maybe at the end here, I'll just put it there. Since I'm already using it before. Make sure everything it doesn't look good. So this is the comment. It's giving me some symbols here. I don't even know. Let's take the symbol out, bring the S value down. This is not a comment. This is, see another symbol here. We don't know this symbol. Okay, so we have the X value and the Y value. And then the plot function, the plot function also is commented. So we have to take it out here. Yeah, so plt.plot. And then display, see also the show function is committed. Yeah. So as we said, the same, we have our data, we plot the data, and we display the data. So this should work now. Let's see. I run it. I didn't go through. Oh, okay, this is it. So it's the same graph. Yeah, yeah. So let's keep going. This is just an example. I mean, we may not have to run the code unless the student say, okay, run this code. I don't understand how you get this result. Or anywhere in the code, again, as usual, you can ask questions at any time. So as we said earlier before, maybe let me just repeat one more time. If you have a question, if you use the text box, the chat box, I cannot see it because I'm right now in a slide section. Actually, let me make this big so it's slideshow. Yeah. Now, if you have a question, I will advise you speak. So when you start to speak, I will just keep quiet. But if you test on maybe if your mic is not working and you have the chat box, then after we finish lecture, we are going to take a break. I will look at it. Or once a while also, maybe I may try and look at it also. So if no question, let's move on. Here they say we have more line charts. So you can see what is going on here. We import and we say we want to plot this. But here we are plotting only what? Only the Y. And we give the label also for only Y. Oh, okay, so this is a label. So if I want to give a label for the X, which is horizontal axis, I'll just say X label, everything lowercase. Now vertical, you can see the result here, vertical. And also the same thing, we show the plot. Now I'll plot it. So here they say we should note, if you provide a single list or array to the plot command, then the Matplotlib, assuming it was what? Y value. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is Y value, some numbers. So that's why we can see. Automatically, the Python or Matplotlib will generate the X value for you. So this is just generated for us. Now, since Python ranges start with 0, so that's where the default X factors are the same length as Y, but they have to start from 0. Hence, X is 0, 1, 2, 3. So wait for a few seconds, or if you think we should run the code. Okay, let's keep going. So these are some of I'll use the term attributes or characteristics also. So the pyplot makers to get the label. As we said, S label is the horizontal label, Y label will be vertical. Then we can also have a title of the chart. If we want, we can create. So create will remove all plot from the axis. If you want to add a specific text, that will be the argument of the text function. The content will go here. So these are text in arbitrary location. You have to set the location too. We can save the figure to a file. Also, we say legend gives us the information by the data. Normally, it will be on the right side. Sometimes we can put it left. Excuse me. It depends where we want to put it. That's fine. Okay, so let's see. They use some few examples here for us. So let's see from the beginning. We have the matplotlib.pyplot as SPTL again. We have our Y1 and Y2 empty array. We set the range of the X from -100 to +100. So we can see the X, -100, 75, negative, etc. Then we generate our Y values. So we say for I in X, we know the S ranges start from -100. We should have Y dot append I, again, we know this is square, I square. So where the I start from, whatever y1 we square, same thing. So one will be positive value, one will be. So that's why we have down and up. Down here is negative values, up is positive value. So after so this section, we generate the data now. We generate the data. So next we have to plot. So it's okay. Let's plot S with Y1 and let's plot the same S with Y2. So S value is 1. So that's why we have those two graphs. Then we put a label for X to be X. So we can see the label there, X. Then we put a label for Y to be Y. So vertical label is Y. Then we set a limit. Y limit, we can see it doesn't go more than 2,000. So from negative 2,000 to positive 2,000. And we can see on the graph here. And that's the Y limit. Then we have both the horizontal and vertical line. And that's it. But before that, we need to show. Oh, yeah, we decided to save first. Let's put this somewhere. See if it will go down. Okay, let's leave it. Okay, so here we decided to save it first. This is the name, let's save it on. And then we show. So let's wait for a few seconds if it's okay. Okay, then we don't need to run it. Okay, so we get some few examples here. We say, okay, import the matplot.pyplot as PLT. We have our data, then we plot it. If possible, we can also show it, plt.show. This function or the plot section have no returning value. So here we say we're operating on an hidden variable representing the figure. But this can be very terrible and also terrible trick. The sole purpose is to pander to Matlab users. Next, we will show how this works in the next lectures. We have the slide in the next. So next is the simple line. So the same thing, we import the Matplotlib again. We get our S and Y values. We plot the X and Y. Then we name the axis X-axis and Y-axis. This time we are adding a total, we're having a title. So the title is my first graph, which is right here. Then we show the plot. So we say plt.show to show the plot. So let's wait for a few seconds if any question. Also, the description is given on the right side. We define the X and Y axis value as listed, X and Y values 1, X is 1, 2, 3, Y is 2, 4, 1. Then we plot them on a canvas using the dot plot function, which we can see it in our plotting there. Right here, hopefully everybody can see the cursor. Then we name our X and Y axis. Then we name the title. Then we show. Finally, to view your plot, we use the show function. So this is another example for two simple lines. And we can go down to where we can see, of course, as we said, data is a graph. Or graph is a data, visualization of data again. So if I need the two lines, then I need the two S and Y values. If I need a 3 line, then I need 3 S and Y values. Everything will work fine. So here you can see line 1, we have the X and Y values. Then we plot it. And when we plot, we set the label to line 1. This will be our legend, kind of legend. Actually, that's what is right here. Then we have our line 2. We plot S2 and Y2, and we set the label to line 2. The next is the same thing we did last previous slides. We get our S label, we get our Y label, S axis, Y axis, the title of the plot also 2 lines on the same graph, so the same title here. And then we include a legend, so plt.legend. Then we need to show the plot. So again, wait for a few seconds if it's okay. So hopefully we know what the legend is for. Also, we know what the plot is for. I think we saw the plot already. Now here they say we should do some customization. So most of the time, to customize our plot, the characteristics, or I'll use the term attribute again, will be done inside the plot function. So we have again beginning, we import the matplotlib.p or pyplot as plt. We get our data S and Y. Then we plot the points. So you can see here we are plotting S and Y, but this time we change what will come out, whatever the plot will look, we'll change it to green. The line style will make it dash. The line width, the thickness of the line, we make it 3. The marker is again. And also we have the marker fence color is blue. Then the marker size is 12. Other than that, the rest is straightforward. We already used the Y and S limit. So they are all 1 to 8, 1 to 8. Then naming the X axis, naming the Y axis, the title again, and we show the function, and then we show the plot using the show function. So this is what we get. And let's see if it is corresponding to what we have in the plot argument. The color is green and it's dashed, so that's what we have. The line width is also 3. Color is green. Lifestyle and line style is dash. The line width is 3. The marker is given as a, so that's where we have the marker, the blue circle. And the marker face color is what that's why the color is blue. And the marker size, how big it is, that's 12. Then after that, the rest is again, we are repeating all over again. We have our Y and X limit to be 8. And if you look at the graph, you can see the vertical go up to 8, the horizontal go up to 8. Then we have the S and Y axis again as the label. Then the title will be some cool customization. Then we use the show function to show the plot. Oh, this one is the, okay, there's no, oh yeah, the output escape. Okay, so that's the output on my right. So wait for a few seconds if it's okay. Okay, so now what we're going to say, if we use the plot function, by default we get always line plot. Now, if we need any plot, let's say histogram, pi, we have to use the name. So here now we are going to plot a bar plot. So we use BAR as the, instead of saying plot. If I say plot, it will plot only by default line graph or line chart. So here we need a bar. And you can see 2 attributes, variables we have. The values 56372. The name ABCD. So each name represents its value. Say A is 5, B is 6, C is 3, D is 7, E is 2. Then we plot the bar using the names and also the values. The color will be green. So let's see if the output is here. Yeah, okay, so that's the output. We can see that our values are 5. The names are the horizontal. And the values are vertical. Okay, so let's keep going if no question. Here they say when using a bar graph, the change in color will form will be from what? plt.plot to blt.bar, which changes it into a bar chart. So normally using the plt.plot is mostly for, again, line chart. Okay, I think we're going to take a break now. It's almost 1 hour, 2:22. Then we're going to continue. We are running slide 14. So wait for a few seconds if any question before we stop the recording or we pause it. Okay, so if no question again, let's continue. So as we said earlier, here again, we continue with the bar graphs. So here we use the bar function. Again, the same steps here, we import our package. And this is what we are using. So the names will be more or less our labels for each bar. And the quantity will be vertical, the values. So the minimum is 2. We can see the last bar is smaller. And C is 3, etc. And here we set all the colors to gray. We can separate the colors for each one. So then again, we show the graph. So that's what we mentioned. Using the bar graph, the change in code will be from plot function to bar function. Okay, let's see the next example. So here we can see the color again. We change the color to yellow-green. Now, if we know the color name, perfect. If not, also we can use the hexadecimal numbers for the color also. So wait for a few seconds if it's okay. So we can see that here our bar are vertical. And here we set to get horizontal. What does the difference? Again, is the name. So here we have bar, and here we have bar H. Adding an H after bar will flip the graph. Okay, so here we decided to change the color. Two colors we are using. So the height again is given. Let's make it bigger later, yeah. So here we can see the names 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The height is what we have, y-axis. Later on, we have the x-axis. We also have the title of the bar. And also we set our bar from left, the height, and then the color. Okay, so if no question, let's keep going. So next will be the histogram. So we saw the line, the path. So everything that we change will be here. Where's the plot again? This is where we're going to plot. So histogram, we use the hist function to plot. Other than that, I think the rest is straightforward. Our data here is ages. Then we also need to set the range. So you can see on the vertical, it doesn't go more than, we start from 0 and we end at 100, doesn't go more than 100. And also here is histogram. We have to set the number of bars we need, or we call it the bins. So here we have 10 bins. We have the X label, Y label, and also the title. And then we show it. Okay, if no question, let's go to the next one. And here also we can see the same plot, but we set our alpha. Also, we change the color. And the number of bins also is the same 10. So alpha, as we said, written the argument that displays the level of transparency. And the bin also again specify the histogram and allow the user to customize how many bins we need or the bar. Here again, the same as the previous, we need 10. We set the color, we set the transparency also. So let's wait a few seconds if it's okay. Okay, then we go to the next one, which will be the scatter plot now. So the function, the plot function is scatter. So we set the X and Y values. We also have the color also with the same step. We need our data. Scatter is 2 dimensions, so we need the X and the Y values, same as the line. Okay. No question, let's see the next one. Almost the same concept. But now we change the attributes. We said there are so many of them. So you can see we change the marker to star. By default, with points. We also have the color. Then down we have the X and the Y labels, the title again, the legend this time. Yeah, so if no question, that's the result here we have. Okay. Next is the pie chart. So we saw that again, using the scatter line chart, we need 2-dimension X and Y values. Pie chart is kind of percentage of our 360-degree or part of, yeah. So here we can see the red, red represent it, kind of dark yellow also slipped, work green, play blue. So that's the activities: eat, sleep, work, and play. And with portion covered by each level. So it will be 3, 7, 8, and 6. Wait for a few seconds then. So we can see the biggest will be 8. 8 is third work. So if we see the word color, green is bigger than the rest. Then the next step is where we set the color. So you go the same order. R for red for 3, yellow, second, green is third, 8, and blue is 6. Then we use the pie function to plot. So we are plotting what? The slices, 3, 7, 8, 6. We kind of get a label. So the labels will be activities. We also have the colors. So activities is eat, sleep, work, and play. And the colors also, we have it here. And here we can see that we explode 0, 0, 0.1. We are third one. If we put this, we can tighten it all together. I think that would be the next. No, we don't have it here. Okay. But we can remove the scroll to put everything in, to put grain inside. We also have the radius value, the legend, and the show. Now here we are plotting curves of a given equation. So the equation is given, then we again plot it. This looks like a sine function, but again, we can, so here we are using the NumPy for that sake. So we can see NP dot arrange setting the x-axis 0 to times NP pi. Again, we know pi is the 3.1, it's a value, 3.142 or so. Then arrange from 0.1 down. Yeah, we have the sine. So NP dot sine x. And we set the range already. Arrange. So I think this is the new. Let's wait a few seconds if any question here. Other than that, we plot the sine function, we show it. So we can see we put in the, whatever we have here, we are putting it in the x. So we plot in the x, sine x. Okay, so we can see we didn't do much here, but we're going to look at another slide, which will tell us some few basic, also some few features. So to summarize everything here, we just look at some few examples. I think most important is the steps that we follow. The attributes, how we want to display, there are so many, and depends on the type of function also. Oh, type of graph with the function attributes. Yeah. So here we say we just scratch the surface. Again, we didn't go detail. It is very basic. The surface of the power of Matlab. We can read more on this in our textbook also. Yeah, so this section, as we said earlier, most of the Python topics now, our textbook in the syllabus is good. It's good for NumPy, Pandas, sklearn, Matplot, our textbook in there. Also, we have some few materials, research. You can go to the cbon.pydata.org, or if it's Pandas also, you get some reference there also. And these are some few more references where we get most of the materials. Okay, so if no question, let's close this. Don't save it. And I think, so I'm going to stop the recording now. I think. Unless if any question. So now we finish.